Welcome. In this video, we're going to go over the basics of how to play Massive Darkness 2 Hellscape by completing the tutorial quest. So down at the table, we've got everything laid out we're going to need. We'll go over the setup for all the components, and then for this quest, it's very simply, we need to go in here, pick up a scroll, take that scroll over to this rift and close that. So pretty quick, but it's just going to go through the turn structure and get you familiar with that. The book does a great job at telling us how to get set up, so we'll go through that process. First process, choosing our heroes. And while you can play solo, I'm choosing to play 2 heroes here. One of those, we're going to be a ranger here. This is letting us know our starting and max mana and our health, our special ability we have, and an ability we might get if we're in the shadows. So our game board's got light and shadow areas, and we get bonuses for fighting from the shadows. Our other hero, going with the paladin, with his special ability, his mana and health. And for each board, we're going to take a level marker and slide it into our slot here. So it lets us know the XP we need to go to the next level and the bonus health and tokens that will go into our treasure bag when it happens. So we're starting with 4 mana and we've got 6 health. We've got a activation token. So if we haven't taken our turn yet, and then if we flip it over if we had, and basically we're starting with a rare and 3 epic treasures tokens. So whenever we get to the next level, those tokens will go into the treasure bag. And then we want to get our experience markers and put that on 0 up here and starting at level 1. And I've done all the same things for our ranger on this side, playing as the green character. Got our 2 mana and 5 health. So as part of being a paladin, we get this board here. It gives us our special ability. So at the start of each round, we may bless the skill until the end of the round. Basically, we flip that card and it gets a little bit better. We can spend a mana to place a concentration token in a zone and line of sight that has no other concentration tokens. You may remove it at any time for free. So if we're in a zone with our green area here, we get to reroll 1 die. Blue, here is to start a move action in this zone, gain +1 movement point. And we'll go over how that works here in a bit. And here's to start their activation in this zone, may heal 1 health. And for our skills, basically starting at level 1, we get to take one of our level 1 skills. So just looking through that, we've got our regular side and blessed side. So we can be boldness. For when we do an attack, we get to reroll 1 of the dice. For this one, a lifelink, paladin may take wounds instead of another hero in the consecrated zone. Or for banish, spend a mana, move 1 enemy in this consecrated zone by 1. I'm going to start with boldness, and I'm just going to place that over with our combat and set the rest of these aside. And then for a ranger, their specialty is they have a bunch of arrow cards. Whenever they make a ranged attack, we're going to flip over cards. Basically, it's push your luck until we decide to quit. And what we're looking for is we want to get the number of arrows to equal 7. If we get that to be 7, we get the top ability of all the cards we used. If we're less than 7, we get the medium or what's in the middle. And if we are higher than 7, it wasn't the best, and we'll get some negative effects there. So these all range from 1 to 4 different arrows. So we'll take that deck and shuffle it. And then take a look at our skills for first level. We have a piercing arrow. For each 3 arrows revealed, the defender gets -1 defense. Arrow volley, ranged attack, spend a mana. Each other enemy in line of sight takes a wound. The fire arrow, so if we get that symbol, if we're perfect on the 7, defender takes a fire token, then add +1 yellow die to the attack. And I'm going to take the piercing arrow because I don't see me getting lucky with the number 7s there, and set the others aside. Then we get our starting equipment. So the first thing we're going to do is we get to choose between having a health potion, which we can discard to heal 3, or mana potion to discard to get 2 more mana. I'm going to take a health potion for both, and we'll just place that next to our boards. Then each character is going to get some battered leather armor, which is going to give us a blue die when we defend. If we're playing with 5 to 6 heroes, it's a little bit different. And we'll place that on our board where it shows its chest. So basically we have hand weapons for our head, a helmet, on our chest, our feet, and then just a random item. And then some consumables don't take up a slot on there. So both gets the armor. And then we have our weapons we can choose from. We have an ash wand. They're going to let us know if it's one or two-handed. Special abilities and the dice we get with that. Also, whether it's a magic attack, melee attack, or ranged attack. And those will be different. So if it's melee, you can only attack things in your zone. If it's magical, in your zone and one space away. And if it's ranged, it's basically line of sight. If we're here, we can attack 1, 2, or 3 areas away. So basically anything orthogonal that's not in your current zone. And since we have a fighter here, I'm torn between taking the crude axe, two-handed, but we get to roll the orange die, or a rusty sword, one-handed, but we get a reroll with that, and a yellow die. I think we go with the rusty sword for him. And of course over here, we're going to take the short bow. So it's two-handed. We can do melee with it, getting 1 yellow, or range, getting a yellow and using our arrow card. So we're going to grab that for our setup. So going through the first 3 sections, we've got our character set up, we've got our skills, and we've got our starting equipment. We get Lifebringer tokens. For 1 to 2 heroes, we'll get 1 of those tokens. So if someone dies, we can bring them back from death. If we run out of these tokens when someone passes out or gets knocked out, we'll lose the game. Then we need to take all the different stacks of cards. So we've got our mob cards up top for the different levels and shuffled those together along with their item cards, roaming monsters, then our common, rare, and epic treasures. Also have our door cards here and shuffled. So for the quest we're doing, we have our map set up like that, so it lets us know the number on the map and how that's set up. So we have map tile 1A and 4A set up here. And it's gonna let us know where we place our tokens. So it's letting us know our starting area is in this zone. That's where heroes will be. It's letting us know where our doors are. I've got the 3D doors there, so I've got those set up, and doors come in with the door shut. We have an objective marker here, which is going to be our scroll, and another one over here, which is going to be our rift we need to get to close. Then we have a loot token here and an enemy spawn point at that location. So on here, it's going to let us know what our objectives are. Ritual scroll, gather the scroll, that's here. And then closing the rift, destroy the rift, we need to get over to this location. So for the special rules, the scroll, in order to close the rift, heroes will need the scroll, which is represented by the color side up objective token. Any hero may spend 1 movement point standing in the objective zone, token zone to gather the scroll. Take the token as a reminder, all heroes gain 5 XP. Then closing the rift, any hero holding the scroll may spend 1 action while standing on the gray objective token zone to destroy the rift. Some quests do have other symbols, so this is the symbol for placing a token on the board. This symbol here means a mob will start the game already on the board. So just be aware of that. Then we need to make our treasure bag, which is going to have 10 of the common treasures, or all those tokens put in the bag. So we'll take those. And then we're going to get 5 of the rare treasure tokens and put in the bag. Then we need our darkness track set up, so that just goes next to the board. We're going to put the marker on the first spot, and basically after each round, it's going to move along the path, and certain symbols are going to bring out roaming monsters, regular mobs, or add additional treasure tokens into our treasure bag. And if we go past 9, we'll flip this over and just keep going. Every other turn, we're either getting a mob or another roaming monster. So that starts on the 1. And of course, off to the side, I've got the rest of the tokens set up and a whole bunch of monster miniatures off to the side of the board on the other side. So this game does take up a little bit of space. So with the setup complete, we already know what we need to do. Run in here. When we open the door, we're going to get some treasure, some monsters. Then we need to keep running and get over here and spend an action. So basically the game round, we have a hero phase, enemy phase, level up phase, and a darkness phase. For the hero phase, we get to choose. We get to go in whatever order we want to, but once we start with the hero, we have to do all 3 of their actions. And their actions are, we can move. Every time we do a move action, we gain 2 movement points. Each movement point can be used to either move to an adjacent zone, and in this game, line of sight and movement is always orthogonal, not diagonal. So we can do a movement, we move to an adjacent zone. We can also open a door in the zone we're in, so we can open a door. That takes a movement point. And if we're in a zone with a object, we can interact with that object. Another action we can do is attacking, depending on the type attack we're doing. Melee, range 0, so it's in the zone we're in. Magic, range 0 to 1. And range is basically you're attacking anything that's in your line of sight but not in your zone. We can trade and equip. So the hero zone, for all heroes in that zone, can freely trade and equip items. Recover, gain up to 2 health or mana in any combination. So you can get 2 health, 2 mana, or 1 of each. Or you can do special action, skills, abilities, or other things to start with the action keyword. Then in the enemy phase, the enemies are going to activate. If we have a mob, they can perform 2 actions. They're going to want to attack. If they can't attack, they're going to move closer to you. Roaming monsters are going to list on their sheet what they can do. Bosses are a little bit different. So instead of taking place after the hero phase, the boss gets an enemy phase after each hero's turn. So basically, normal mobs and roaming monsters, all heroes are going to go, then they're going to go. But bosses, when they're on the field, one hero goes, the boss activates. Another hero goes, the boss activates. Then the mobs and roaming monsters will go. Then the level up phase, heroes must spend their accumulated XP to increase their level. And that is on here. So once we get 5 XP, we're going to second level whether we want to or not. Then that XP gets spent. So then you need to find another 10, spend that 10, and so forth. Basically, for every miniature you defeat, you get 1 XP. Once a mob is defeated, everybody gets 2 XP. And then after a roaming monster is defeated, 4 XP to all the heroes. So each enemy miniature defeated, 1 XP to the hero that killed it. When the mob leader is defeated, that one enemy gets, or one hero gets 1 XP, and then all heroes get 2. And same thing for roaming monsters. The enemy that defeated it gets the 1 XP, and then plus 4 to all the heroes. Then we have the darkness phase. Advance the darkness track 1 space, and depending on the symbol, we're either going to spawn a mob in every zone with a portal token. And for this one, we only have a purple portal that's on a bridge. Spawn a roaming monster in a zone with a roaming monster portal, or add treasure tokens to the bag. So that's the basics of each round. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into this. So starting here, we know we need to get to here and then make it that direction. I'm going to start with our paladin going first, and as a free skill action, we're going to, at the start of the round, you may bless 1 skill until the end of the round. So I'm going to go ahead and bless this, and that only comes into effect whenever we are with the concentration token, but I'm going to keep it like so. Then I can spend a mana to place a concentration zone in a zone in line of sight that has no other concentration tokens. So I'm going to spend 1 mana to put this in our current zone. And what that does, here's to start. A move action in this zone gets plus 1 movement point. So then I'm going to take my first of 3 actions, which is going to be movement. So 1 movement to go to the adjacent zone. Second movement is going to open the door, and we are going to pause my movement to resolve opening the door. So after we've opened the door, we are revealing a chamber. So we're going to draw and resolve our door card, spawn enemies. So we've got a token for that. And then we're going to place treasures. So we're going to get rid of this token and get into our treasure bag and replace that with one of the rarity things to see what we're getting. So first, we'll go ahead and shuffle the door stack and revealing a door card. So we've got a cramped room. Place 2 treasure and 1 monster in the furthest zone of this chamber. So I guess looking at the chamber, we've got walls here. So this section here is not available. Basically, it's just a tutorial. They know we've got a pathway to get to here, and we need to run through this to get that way. So in the end of the zone, we're going to get 2 more treasures and 1 more monster. And now we're going to reveal each of those. We'll start with the easy stuff, the treasures. We'll go into our bag. So we'll go in the front one there. We have a common treasure, and then these 2 back here. 2 more common treasures. Then the monsters. We're level 1, and basically levels are determined by the highest level hero, and of course we're all first level. So our first mob is going to be some fire entities. When they come into place, we're going to place 1 treasure token on them. Each unit in here has 3 health. They're all going to get 1 defense die. On combat, if their die has that little claw on it, it's going to add a fire token to the attacking or defending hero. And then they're also going to get an item. And they are getting a serrated dagger. So on attack, the defender is -1 shield, and they're rolling a yellow die with that. So we'll place those over here. And basically the mobs, they get 2 of the minions, or 1 per player. So we're getting 2 of those in here. And then 1 leader. Then our other mob is going to be some gargoyles, 2 health each, 1 treasure, 1 defense die. They're going to get extra defense die with the claw figure. And their item, they're armed with a crossbow. So melee, they get a yellow die, and ranged get a yellow die. So we're done with that. Grab some miniatures. And then the fire entities have common treasure. The gargoyles also have common. All right, so we've done 2 of our 3 movement points. Our next action is going to be to go ahead and move over here. So that was 1 movement to here, 1 movement point to open the door, and we started with +1. We moved right on into this spot. Now, we don't have any ranged weapons, so we're going to keep on movement. So we're going to activate for our second action is movement. We get 2 movement points. Our first movement point we're going to spend for some treasure. This goes back into our bag. We'll go ahead and shuffle up the common treasure just a little bit here. And we are getting an endurance potion. So that does not take up a slot. We can get rid of it to give us +3 defense dice, which we might need pretty soon. Second movement point, we're jumping right on in here. So now we're going into attacking, which is not going to be good for us, I do believe. I think I want to take care of the gargoyles first. So for combat, we need to assemble our dice pool first. So we're going to gather type of dice shown on our weapons and add them to our pool. We only have 1 weapon, the rusty sword. That's letting us know we get 1 yellow die. All right. If the attacker is a hero in the shadow, we add the shadow die to the pool. We're in a shadow space. We get the purple die added in there. Gather all the defenders' defense dice and add them to the pool. So we're going after the gargoyles. Their defense is 1 blue. And then the scary part, if a mob is in combat, add 1 enemy die for each minion in the mob. So we're fighting this 1 mob. There's 2 minions in that. So we get 2 monster dice in there. So we've gathered all the dice. Then we can gather any applicable bonus dice, which we don't have options for. Now resolving the attack, roll the dice pool. We apply abilities first, Then we add up our swords and subtract our defenses to deal damage. And each character in this mob has 2 health. So before we take our third and final action, what I'm going to do is spend a mana to drop a concentration in that area, and that's going to allow us to re-roll any of the combat dice. And since I have a bless spell in there, we get to re-roll another die, and we get +1 sword on that. So first action, movement in here. Second action, we got our endurance and moved in. And now our third action is attacking, and using these are free skills. So as long as we have the mana to pay for them, we have those. So we're going to roll these dice and see what happens here. I'm not a fan of all these. So what we're going to do, we're going to re-roll both of these. Actually, we have 3 potential re-rolls. We'll roll these and see what happens. Our third re-roll, we're going to re-roll this one. All right. So we're going to do the special abilities first. So we've got a claw figure and then the clawed. So this always deals the damage back. But we have an ability that when we are attacking, we get to ignore one of those. So that gets ignored. So we get to resolve this. So we're going to look at our enemy card. And that says they're going to get +1 shield. So basically, they're going to end up with 2 shields. So then we go to our attacks. So we've got 3 here, 2 there, +1 for this card. So we've got 6. We're subtracting 2, so we're doing 4 damage. And that goes to the entire mob, so it's not that we did 4 on this one miniature. We're doing 4 to the mob, and we take out the minions first. So we're taking out this little guy and that little guy. And that's going to get us 1 experience each. So we'll mark 2 XP there. And that was our 3 actions for our paladin. So he is done for his turn. Now we're going to go to our ranger. He's going to start with a move action. He's got an ability. He gets +1 to start with. So he's got 4 movement points. 2 because of the normal, +1 for that, +1 for this. 1, 2. We're going to stay out here in the light though. Second action, we are going to go ahead and play with some of our arrow cards. So we're going to shoot in there. And this time we're going to shoot at the fire entities. So once again, they're going to have 2 defense dice or minion dice. We've got 1 blue because of this ability here. Our bow gets us 1 yellow. We are not in darkness, so we don't get the purple die. But we're going to start flipping these arrow cards over. Go ahead and give this a shuffle. And we want 7 evenly, but second most, we want less than, or not to get more than 7. So we've got 4 there. If we flip another one, we can get to 8. I do like this ability here. We can spend a mana. Defender takes a frost token. Basically, the frost token, whenever a miniature mob would perform an action, remove a frost token from it instead. So I'm not going to risk going higher than that. So we're just going to roll the dice right there. We're going to stop there. We know what our special ability is and roll our dice. We have 0 re-rolls. So our abilities, that's happening. We're taking a damage from that. So down to 4 health. Then this symbol, add a fire token to the attacking or defending hero. Ouch. So we're going to take one of those. Then that symbol there means we get a mana back. Well, actually, we'll spend a mana first to put frost over there. Then we'll get a mana back. It's got 1 shield, but since we have 4 arrows for each 3 revealed, they're -1 shield, so that goes down to 0. So we are actually doing 1 damage. So that was attack 1. And the way I'm reading this, our activation was when we started, so we're not going to resolve the fire just yet. Not 100% sure on that. But our third and final activation is going to be shooting again. And let's see here. Oops, this gets discarded. Let's see what our possibilities are. We've got 2 arrows, 4 arrows, and I'm going to stop there, playing it safe. So if we got 7, we'd ignore all those damages and get to reroll 2 dice. Here we get to ignore 1 and spend a mana to reroll 2 dice, which I'm not going to do. We're just going to stop there at 4. So with 3 or more revealed, defense is down 1. Defense isn't going to matter. We get to ignore this symbol here because of that. But because of this, now we're going to get another fire token. And we are doing 2 damage, which is going to be enough to kill one of the minions there and get us an XP. Now it's going to end our turn, so end of the round. We'll take all these cards and shuffle them back in. Then we're going to go into the enemy phase. They get to perform 2 actions each. We'll start with the gargoyles. So they are attacking in melee. So with their weapon down here, they get 1 yellow die. There's no minions in that group, so they're not getting any of those dice. They do not get shadow dice. We are defending. We get 1 blue die. So first attack against us. 1 damage. Nothing there. These, we get to reroll 1 die in combat. So we're going to reroll our defense die. And we're going to take a damage. Then second activation from the same gargoyle group. They really don't get mana, and we're blocking that so we don't take any damage. So then on to the fire entities. First activation they do, they're not doing anything except get rid of the frost. Second activation, their dagger gets them 1 yellow. We get 1 defense die, and they have 1 minion. So that's the dice pool. And we get to re-roll 1 of those. I feel like worse things can happen. So we're blocking the hit, but we are taking a fire damage. And that is them activating. So enemies phase is done. Level up phase. We need at least 5 XP to level up. We haven't got that far. So then the darkness phase, our mob track moves to 2 and nothing's above it. So we're on to our next game round. Start of the new round. We're going to keep this on the plus side. We're going to activate. So getting rid of the fire token. As soon as this miniature or mob activates, roll 1 yellow die for each fire token on it. Miniature or mob suffers 1 wound for each sword result, then remove all those tokens. So 1 fire token and taking 2 damage. All right. We're going to drink a health potion. This is not an action. It's a consumable. We just use it and it gets discarded to heal 3. So we'll grab 3 health back. So first action, we're going to see what we can do about the fire entities. So we get our yellow die for the rusty sword. They get a blue die. We're in the shadows, and there's 1 minion still in that pool. And we get one reroll because of our sword, a reroll because of our boldness, and +1 sword to start with, plus another reroll with our combat. And I'm not liking that. I'm liking that. We're going to reroll both of these. And we still have a reroll left. We'll reroll that also, or again. All right, so that symbol there means every hero in a consecrated zone performs a free recover after this combat. So recovering, we're just going to gain 2 health. And we're at a max 6, we're at 5, so that's going to work for us. All right, so defense and this extra sword takes care of that. We're going to get a mana. And we're dealing 1 damage. Not much, but we did something. And after this activation, we're going to heal 1 more. Now back, we're going to attack again, same thing, all the same dice. All right with that, because we can ignore it from our ability. We're good with a blank. We're going to re-roll this one. Actually, we're going to re-roll both of them. And we'll keep that. All right, we ignore that. No defense. We've got 4 damage going in. Already got 2 damage on it. So the first is going to take care of this one, which gets us an experience. And then the next 3 is going to take care of the leader, which gets us an experience for defeating a miniature. And then all heroes are going to get +2 XP. So we're up to 6 here. And 3 over here. Since we defeated that enemy, we're going to get the treasure it was holding along with its weapon. All right, so this is one-handed, so we can have both of these attached. So we're going to put this in our other hand. So we'll be rolling 2 yellow dice now with a reroll in the defender's -1 defense. And I don't know if I did that earlier, so I would have taken 1 more damage, but I had the healing to take care of it. And our common treasure is Greater Health Potion, healing 5 with that. So that was 2 actions, still have a 3rd left. So we're going to go after the remaining gargoyle. He does not have any minions, so we don't need that die. We're in the shadows. We're now getting 2 yellow dice. And he just has the 1 blue. And we've got 3 rerolls. I'm going to reroll all 3 of these. All right. We'll keep that. So we're going to get 2 mana, but our max is 4. It's got 1 defense. We're going to have 1, 2, 3 swords going in. So it blocks away 1. 2 goes through. So only got 2 health, so he's defeated. That's going to get us an XP for defeating a miniature. The mob is now defeated. We get 2 more XP for both of us. We now have a crossbow that we really don't want. So it goes in our inventory. And we're going to grab another basic treasure there. And that's some bone knuckles. So for an attack, spend a mana to ignore a blue die. It's not bad. And we're full of mana, but we're just going to hold that in our inventory. So that was his 3 actions. So 3 actions over here. First activation, getting rid of 2 of these to roll 2 yellow dice. And hope we don't die from that. So we're taking 1 damage. Then we're going to make a movement action. We get 3 movement for him because of our +1. So moved 1 space. Second action, we'll pick this up, which is going to give everyone 5 XP. And that's listed in the quest special rules. So he's going up to 14. And he's going up to 10. Got another action left. We're going to pick up some treasure or movement points. To clarify, we had 3 movement points. We moved 1, picking up 2 items. Got a scroll of enhancement. May use an ability of an equipped magic item. All right, second action, we're going to do a trade and equip. So with everyone in our zone, we can swap different items. Basically, our paladin does not need these 2 items, so we're going to take that. We're going to unequip our short bow because it's 2-handed. Attach our crossbow, which is 1-handed, gives us the same dice to use. And then we'll also put in some bone knuckles just in case. That goes in our other hand slot. Now we've got 1 more action left, so we're going to take a movement action, so we get 3 movement points. First thing we're going to do is open the door for 1 movement. Second thing we'll do is pick up this other treasure. A greater health potion. Then we are going to step out the door. And as a free action, we're going to drink our health potion healing 3, but we're up to a max of, actually we're going to hold off on that. We can actually use these during the enemy phase. We're about to level up, so we're going to be done with our activations. Enemy phase, we have no enemies, so that goes pretty quick. Level up phase, so we must spend our accumulated XP. So to go to second level, we have to spend 5 XP. So that's going to take us down to 9. This moves to second level. When we move to second level, we're going to gain a health. And we put that treasure token that we saved here into the bag. And it takes 10 to go to the next level, and we're sitting at 9. Then over here, we spend 5, which is going to take us down to 5. Go to second level. We gain a health and place our token in the bag. So there we have leveled up. We also get a skill of our choice. So we can take a level 1 skill to make it level 2, or we can pick a different level 1 item. But in the case of our ranger, we have our level 1 skills and our level 2s. So taking anything else up, we need level 3 to actually do it. So the new things coming up: during your first move, action each turn, first draw and discard an arrow card. Gain a movement point for each arrow discarded this way. Or when you overload, you may choose 1 effect to ignore. We're never going to overload. Let's see. We're going to take the grappling arrow to give us some better movement. And for our paladin, so we've seen our 2 level 1s. We've got an echoing hollow. This concentration also affects 1 other adjacent zone, or divine protection. Heroes may target this zone if possible to attack an enemy in another consecrated zone. I'm going to take this one. And I'm going to place that under the healing one. All right, we're all leveled up. So then darkness phase. We are level 2, so we're looking in here, roaming monsters. And we get the ghoul. 2 treasures. We get 1 that's definitely rare. 5 health per hero. Defense and attack. The abilities here: if there's a minion in the ghoul's zone, kill 1 minion in that zone, players choose, and the ghoul heals 5. Otherwise, the ghoul moves 3 zones toward the closest hero and attacks them if possible. Combat, 1 of those, move the closest mob 1 zone towards the ghoul. And he pops up on the bridge. All right, for next round, it would be easy enough. I could go 1, 2, 3, 1, and then in the game. But where's the fun in that? We want to get some attacks in. So we're going to go with him first. We're going to go ahead and just remove these tokens. Just need my red one up there. First action, we're going to move. We get 1, 2. Second action, we're going to move and jump in there on the bridge. Third action, we're attacking. The bridge looks to me like it's in darkness. So we're going to get our darkness die. We're attacking with a rusted sword and our dagger. There's no minions involved. It gets 2 blue defense dice and 1 enemy die. So we're going to, before we attack, spend a mana. And we wanted this blessed. So that zone there is consecrated, and make our attack. All right. I'm all right with those. I've got 1, 2, 3 rerolls. Not all right with that. So reroll 1. We're fine with that. Reroll 2. And reroll 3. Much better. All right, resolving these. That just moves the closest mob 1 zone closer to him. There's no other mobs in there, so it does nothing. It's got 2 defenses, but because of our dagger, it's -1. Then the attack, so we're getting a mana. We get a mana back. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -1, so we're doing 5 damage to this guy. Not bad for 1 attack in there. All right, so he's all done. Our ranger, move action. He's got a movement of 3, just going 1, 2. He's in darkness, so we get the darkness die. We get 1 yellow. And then, of course, the enemy gets his 2 defense and that. So we're going to start during your first turn, first move action, which we did. First draw an arrow cards. That would have got us extra movement, so we had tons more movement. Could have actually made it back here, but I want to be attacking from the shadows. All right, now we're actually doing our attacks. So we're going to discard cards here. Got 1 arrow. 3 arrows, 5 arrows, and we're going to stop there. So that means we're going to get +1 mana. We get a reroll the black die, and we get to ignore 1 damage from that one. We're already at our max mana. Let's make our roll. Oh, good with those 2 blanks there. Fine with that. That's not doing anything. And I'm all right with that. So -1 defense. We're not taking any damage. We're doing 4 damage to him. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for our final activation, same dice pool. We'll discard these. 2 and 6. So for each 3, defenders down 2. Spend a mana to take it down another 2 defense. And we can spend 1 to make it cold. Just a note that roaming monsters require 2 frost tokens for them to lose their activation. All right, so rolling your dice. We got our shadow ability, which is draw and discard 1 arrow card, apply its good effect. I'm all right with that because it's not doing anything to us. I think for a reroll, see, did we get a reroll? I don't think we did. That was just a single 1. All right, discarding. We've got 2 rerolls if we so choose. All right, we're going to choose to use those 2 rerolls. 1 and 2. So we get a mana that we can't hold. We're doing 1 damage, which oddly enough is enough to defeat this thing. He had 10 health. He's taken down. We get 1 XP for defeating. And roaming monsters, 4 XP to everyone. So up to 13. And he'll go up to 10. And out of the way. All right, another enemy phase with no enemies on board. Awesome. Leveling up. We need 10 XP to go to the next level. So 3rd level. We're getting +1 mana. And we're going to put a epic treasure into the treasure bag. Go ahead and do that for both sides. Because we're going up in level also. And get our mana. And for our skills, we're going to upgrade boldness, going to level 2. And similarly, on this side, we're going to take our piercing arrow up to status 2. That's going to end our round. These get shuffled in. Well, the leveling up anyway. Officially, these get flipped over. Then we'll advance to the next level, which is putting another rare treasure token in the bag. But starting our next turn, we're just going to have our ranger go movement 1, 2, and 3 to activate with our scroll. And that is going to be the quest tutorial completed. So we got a big battle in there, held us up there, got us some nice treasures. We exchanged some items. We made it to level 3. So for a tutorial, I think we went through the main things that you were going to see there. Fairly simple. The hard part about this thing is taking damage back after you attack enemies. So managing your rerolls is definitely something you want to do. But all in all, a fairly simple dungeon crawl type game. So with other expansions, you can do this in the campaign. Unfortunately, mine has not arrived at the moment, so all I have right now is just being able to do one-offs. But as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough and tutorial of how to play with the basics of Massive Darkness 2. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.